Hi there. My name is Becky Miller. I'm a certified yoga therapist, and I am bringing you another quick tip. Um, Lately, I've been working with clients on basics. It's the first of the year as I record this, and a lot of them have requested that we just work on basics again. It can be so easily overlooked, the simple parts of a pose. And so we've just been taking time to work on those basics and really getting back to what it means to be in a certain position. And so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to work with just one pose. I'm just going to chat with you for a few moments here about a pose and just talk about some common alignment issues that I see. And this is also a quick reminder that you never want to fit yourself into a pose. Don't try to look like what everybody else is doing. Instead, make the pose work for you. So we are not all put together the same. This is just a quick acknowledgement that many of us have issues. We've had accidents or maybe surgeries or just injuries that have made it so that our bodies are not quite the same. And so a certain pose might not work the same for you as it does for somebody else. So just a quick reminder, don't try to fit yourself into the pose, rather make the pose fit you. And that means make adjustments as needed. So I do have yoga blocks here. I may use one of those and for this pose. And if you need to, don't be afraid to use your own yoga block or whatever prop it is that you have handy. But today I'm going to talk with you a little bit about Warrior 2. It's a pose that is in a lot of classes. When I'm working with my private yoga clients, we frequently use it in our sessions. So I just wanted to chat with you for a moment about Warrior 2, this common pose. Often I am bringing people into this pose from a down dog, but sometimes I am bringing people into the pose from standing. It just depends on what we're doing and my client's abilities. But today we're going to start from standing. I guess just an easy way to get into the pose. So I'm going to call this part of my mat the top of my mat. I'm just going to start standing here. And to get into Warrior 2 from a standing position, you're simply going to step one foot back. I'm going to step my right foot back. Now, I've done this so many times, my foot automatically goes into the position that I want it to go into. But when you're stepping back, you want to be several feet back. Sometimes I see people taking a short stance, and that's not enough. You do need to be further, but you also don't want to be super far back. You're not trying to do a split here. So maybe 3 feet back, 2.5, 3 feet, something like that. If you're taller, you're going to step further back. You've got longer legs. So again, make the pose work for you. So in Warrior 2, your front knee is going to be bent and your back leg straight. Now, how much do you bend that front knee? It depends on you. Do you have a lot of strength in the legs? Maybe you're bending it further. If your legs aren't very strong, maybe you don't bend it quite as much. It's your pose. Do what you need out of it. But I do want you to check alignment of the knee, of that front knee. Make sure it's pointing towards the middle toes on that foot. So you don't want your knee caving in. You don't want your knee leaning out. Make sure that it stays pretty straight with those toes. Now, back foot, I've got mine turned in. I've done this a lot. My legs are fairly flexible this way, but some people that doesn't work. For some people, I don't know if you can see the foot, but now I've got the foot more lined up with the back of the mat, so it's even parallel to the back of the mat. If that's what works for you, do it that way. If you can turn your toes in a little bit, try that. If you always do the pose the same way, maybe do it a little bit different and see how it feels. Arms are going to reach out. Now, I often see people with their shoulders up to their ears, their arms are all tight. They're really trying to muscle their way through the pose. But I learned a long time ago, if you just relax a little bit, let those shoulders release, let the arms be a little bit relaxed, you can hold this pose a heck of a lot longer. So if you just relax into it, and then you can turn and take your gaze over that front hand here. If that's too much for your neck, maybe you don't look quite that far towards the hand, but you do want to turn just a little bit with your gaze. Now we are trying to get space as you hang out here, space between that back hip and that front knee. A lot of times I see people caving that back hip in, so if you can, open it up. One other thing I see a lot is that people are leaning forward. It's not really that bad to do that. I don't want you to get in the habit and slowly lean further and further forward. So if you think of your spine going straight up towards the ceiling, then you'll be in better position for this pose. So I'm going to let my arms come down and simply switch sides to do that, turning this back foot all the way around, and now my front foot becomes my back. And I'm switching to the opposite leg here. So immediately that front knee, I'm bending. Again, it's as much or as little as you want. Knees, the knee is lining up with the middle of those middle toes. Back foot is turned in a little bit if that works for you. Arms are lifting up. Now sometimes people will, their arms will get tired. They're not used to holding their arms up like this. It's okay to let your arms come down, take a breath, and then lift them back up. Make the pose work for you, whatever that means. If it's bringing those arms down and resting a little bit, it's perfectly okay. Just try to get that spine up towards the ceiling. Maybe you look over this front hand. And when you want to completely come out of it, arms can come down, and you simply step forward. Really easy way to enter and exit the pose. This is something, again, that is used often in classes. So take a moment. If you've been doing the pose for years even, take a moment simply to check in with it. Are there any bad habits that you have established? Have you been taking the pose for granted? Have you been ignoring how it feels and just muscling your way through it? See if there's a way to make this pose new for you again. Check in with it, check on your alignment, check on your breath, and just let it be new for you again. So that's Warrior 2. I will bring you in the future, I'll bring you some other poses, and we'll just get basic with it and just get to know it a little bit again. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment. Happy to answer them. If you would be interested in doing some more poses, if you want to work privately with me, please let me know. I do work online, so I can work with you anywhere. And yeah, I look forward to bringing you some more poses. So that's it for now. I will talk with you again soon. Bye.